long day at the office today. Not a very good feeling from the opening possession through the end of the game. Not a very good effort on any of our parts. I thought our team really all year had pretty disciplined focus and habits throughout the year, and I didn't do a good enough job of preparing ourselves for this game and this rivalry, and we did not play very good. We did not coach very good, and we certainly did not play with the discipline that and the character that this team has, and that's not acceptable. It's not okay, and I was very disappointed in that, and that needs to be addressed and improve, and so that's probably the biggest disappointment. The game also kind of speaks for itself. They really beat us in every phase, from the start to the finish, and there's certainly things we all could do better.
Mark, why was Jordan Jones still in the game after multiple things? Personal fouls, he's arguing with coaches.
Jordan is an extremely emotional player, and there's times when it gets the best of him, and I need to do a better job of working with him and holding him accountable and holding his feet to the fire on that. He's definitely an emotional guy and needs to control that better. I got to coach it better, and we definitely. I didn't think. I thought the second one. Definitely. I don't know, Kyle. I mean, I just think there was some. It wasn't as blatant. You know what I mean? It wasn't totally. It was wrong. It was selfish. I need to talk to him. We need to do a better job of coaching him. But it wasn't. I guess blatant. You know what I mean? That one was close when the whistle was blowing there. The second one, very frustrating for our players, frustrating for us as coaches. That whole situation, believe me, it bothers me to the core. And, I don't want us to represent, this university that way at times. And, I don't want to get in any excuse or why or anything like that. I mean, obviously, the game got very chippy early, and I didn't even see how that started on our sideline, down at the goal line. I don't know how or what started that. I really don't. But I really felt like the emotions really got out of hand very quickly there. So.
What was your reaction when the game?
I went down and I was notified of that, and obviously went down and talked with Nick about that. And I'll keep it between Nick and I. I mean, he could answer for himself, but I was disappointed in that as well, because we just had probably one of the best team meetings I'd ever been a part of, to be honest with you. We got a really good group of seniors, and we had a really good emotional meeting, and there was a lot of good vibes in that room. And but again, Nick, I'll let him answer if he wants and whatever. But he and I talked about it and put it to bed last night. He's emotional as well. He was rubbed the wrong way after curfew by one of our younger coaches, and we'll just leave it at that.
Do you expect him to stick around with the team through the ball game?
I do, but we'll see where he's at and where his health is and what's best for him. Mm-hmm.
Mark, in year 5, are you surprised that this defense has not taken steps forward? More steps.
Yeah, I do think that I am surprised that we I felt like we did at times this year, and then we took steps back, and that is disappointing, and that's frustrating for me, and for everyone in the program, because I felt like we went into the year. I don't think we would have gotten the 7 victories had we not improved in certain areas. And we did that, and then at times it's gone away, and that's very hard for me to deal with. It's very frustrating, and the consistency is not what it needs to be, and that is bothering me.
Mark, what kind of adjustments did you make at halftime?
What kind of just our normal adjustments. We look at everything new, any new sets or new looks, and get our players dialed into those. And we did, and got some things fixed, and then there's some things we didn't, and then there's things you get fixed, and you can't bring that guy down. And a couple times we're scot-free, and I told you that going into the week. Sometimes it's awful if it's really difficult if you're completely free to him, because you got a guy completely free on pressure and he escapes it and scrambles for 20 yards. I mean, that's not drawn up. Just happens, and it creates, and you got to give him a lot of credit for that. He's a very talented football player, Lamar.
Mark, with the early signing period, how do you salvage some momentum after the last 2 games?
I don't think that'll be an issue at all. We've got a solid class. We've been recruiting at a very high level, and guys are excited to come here. And most of the people we're recruiting against have had some ups and downs as well. So, I know how we feel, and I'm not happy, and you're probably not happy, and most of us aren't. And but it's not like that there's going to be somebody win and lose in every game. So.
What do you feel that you guys were able to dial it back in emotionally after the scuffle on the sidelines there?
When did I? What you say?
Why do you think you guys were unable to sort of...
Yeah, it took way too long for us to dial that back. Yeah, it did. We were very... because I think... Why was because the frustration was kicking in also, because we weren't stopping them. I think that's part of it. And then that's, again, not okay.
How connected is the discipline it takes to keep your composure and the discipline it takes to cover receivers and
your
defensive assignments?
Yeah, we talk about it so much, and they're all connected. And we talked about it all week about disciplined preparation, disciplined focus, but most importantly, disciplined execution. And I could honestly say that I don't think any of those things happened today. For the most part, and that's very, very frustrating. I think our prep has been pretty solid, or I would tell you that, throughout the course of this year. And at times, I think, at times our the discipline focus that you need hasn't been there. And as you mentioned the last couple of weeks, certainly disciplined execution has not been on the field. And that's something that, we definitely got to address and get better. And, it is what it is, and that's not okay with me. And it's very frustrating. And what stinks is it's the last game of the year, and that's it's going to sit. This sits with you for a while, and that's the thing that's very difficult about losing the last game of the year. Fortunately, we do have a bowl game, and we can get back on track. The players definitely need to get away from here for a minute and decompress. It is a long year. It's the first time we've gone through that since mid-July, and the way we've grinded them up, and we've got work to do, and I've got work to do, and I'm very excited about doing that. I'm very disappointed. I let some people down and we didn't play the way we had hoped. But I promise you, we'll get right back at it, and the players need a little bit of time to get away and decompress and heal up and get away from football for a week or however many days, and then get back at it.
Mark, when you say you had such a good team meeting, and then the thing with Nick, and you talked to him privately, and you guys I'm assuming you thought you guys are really ready to play. But what happened to Nick with other guys knowing what's going on? Did that affect you guys today at all?
I don't think so. I really don't, Alan. I don't know. I don't think any of us like any distractions. When you're getting ready for a big game, and but I can't answer that, honestly, for 100 and however many people are in our organization. But I really don't think it did. But I don't think that's the reason why this happened today. No. Yeah, it really does. It mean a lot. Even in there, right now, again, as I told the team, that, we're going to stick together, and we're going to, we're not going to let this compound another issue. We can't do that. That's not okay. And this, I tell them all the time, I'll own mine, you own yours. We're in it together, but you can't let it compound and get to be another problem, another issue. And we're not going to let that happen, and they're not going to let that happen. But Benny is a guy that's also very emotional and plays so tough, and and that does get lost sometimes when you take a beating like that, but I really appreciate Benny, the tough yards that he runs for, and again, I think, we had as frustrating as it was, I think key moments again are, in the middle of the second quarter, we have a long drive that we needed. Obviously, we were having a hard time stopping them. We have a long drive, missed the field goal. And then I also think when it was 24 would have been 24-7 or what it was, with 2.5 minutes to go in the half, and we get the penalty, incomplete, and put it right back in his hands. That also, is not where we needed to be, because had we been able to just drive it there at the end of the half and get the ball to start the second half, that's obviously where we needed to make up some ground. Even though it was, still a tough first half, we still could have kept it, reasonably close. And I think that possession, a couple of those possessions really hurt.
Mark, with the fight and then the unsportsmanlike penalties and the unnecessary roughness, do those bother you more than even some defensive missed assignments and things like that?
It does. It does bother you, especially when you're on the losing end and you lose. Because it's not a good look. And rivalry games are heated, but there's still no excuse for some of that on either side. None of us want that as coaches, and that's not all right. And whether you win or lose, you still don't want that going on, and so it does bother you.
In all your years in football, is Lamar the toughest quarterback that you've ever coached?
I'd have to say so. I can't recall defending anybody as talented as he is. It's tough because they're, as we all know, they're a good football team that's well coached, but then it's really difficult when things break down and you got it covered or you got them stopped, and he just absolutely makes you miss and gets bunches of yards. It's heartbreaking, and it is frustrating, and especially with them being our rival and a heated game, and he can aggravate you. But you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because you have to recognize him as, last year is the best player in college football, and this year I imagine he'll be in New York as well and deserves to be there, and he is a real talent. And as I said, what's very hard is when you have to be so disciplined in your rushes. Then he stretches the field and he still can distribute the ball, and when it does break down and he gets those yards, that's where it's really crushing. And he's done that for 2 years and some change.
Stephen, how banged up is Stephen Johnson? He looks not like himself.
I can't answer that exactly. I mean, going into the game, he was okay. I mean, he was definitely, I'm sure, bruised and banged up a bit, but
A couple more.
Stephen was visibly upset as he walked off the field.
Pardon me?
Stephen Johnson was visibly upset as he walked off the field for the last time. What has he meant to your program as the quarterback to kind of steady the ship?
Yeah, he's meant a great deal. And, it's tough for all of us to have that last game at home. For him to go out that way, it's difficult on him, because he's done an awful lot. He's really represented us the right way, and he has had great character, and really has been a leader and a very calming force for us, and I really appreciate him. He'll bounce back and we'll regroup. Like I said, this team needs to get away for a minute, heal up, and get back at it, fortunately, for one more opportunity.
What kind of message would you like to send to the fans between now and over the next month as you get ready for the bowl?
Well, I thank the fans for for their support throughout the entire season. And there's always going to be ups and downs, and they've been there, and I really appreciate them. Definitely disappointed that the way we played today. I definitely am, and we will definitely be back, and we'll continue to try our very best to do things the right way and represent this fan base the right way with our administration and our people. And we try to do things right. And there were times today that that I accept the responsibility for, that I got to get some things corrected, and I will. But I do appreciate our team, by and large, for years trying to do things right, and we're going to continue to try to do that.
Folks, thank you very much.
Thank you.